All right, so we're going to jump right in with It's Electric with Google Slides. So excited to have everyone here with me today to have this conversation. Just a quick note, I was able to go to TCA this past February, and one of the presenters with Fried Technology, her name is Brooke Lowry. She was kind enough to allow me to use some of her slides from her presentation. I love this idea of talking about the electric Google slide, so I do want to give her that shout out as she gave me permission to use some of her resources. So I'm going to hop right in because I really want us to focus on how to use the resources that are available to you. With slides, there are a couple things that a lot of folks are not aware of that you can do with slides that make the experience unique. So the first thing I want to talk about is the page setup. You can make a lot of changes to your page setup, and that can really shift what you can do with a Google slide. So you don't have to do this with me unless you want to. That's up to you. But I'm going to show you how to change your page setup so that it matches the size of a piece of paper. So I'm going to open a new tab, and I'm going to type in slide.new. Oop, I did slide.net. Slides. Oh, that'll work. Slides.google.com will get me there too. And I'll just do this with a blank document. And I'm going to title this, let's say you wanted to create an ebook, or you wanted students to create their own ebook. You can actually go to File, and then go to Page Setup, and then go to Custom, and you can actually change this to 8.5 by 11. And then what that does is it actually changes the size of the Google slide. And so this now becomes a powerful tool, and you can use it for more than just presentation mode. And if I wanted this to be horizontal, let me show you, then I would just flip my numbers. And then it flips it for me, okay? So what can we do instructionally with this tool? Got a couple things I want to show you. The first thing I want to show you is a poetry anthology that the librarian at Rowlett High School and I got to support a teacher with. At the time, her students were really using a lot of paper to write poems and then print those poems out and create poetry books, essentially. And so she was looking for a way to conserve paper and to be more efficient with her processes. And so the librarian and I collaborated, and we helped her to facilitate a digital poetry anthology. And so this is the teacher example that she and I created. I took on sketching, so opening up another app like Google Drawing, Notability, and I created how can you sketch, and then put those sketches in the poetry anthology. And then she created examples of how you can pull pictures and images and text to create the poetry anthology. So this is our example that we came up with for the students. Those are my examples with the sketches that I created in the background. And guys, I can't draw at all. I just found some pictures and traced and made it look the way I wanted it to. And then here are her examples that she created, just dragging in pictures and images. So if you see, all of these are images. They have a transparent background. Let me show you all that there. And she just dropped them in. Okay, so this was the teacher example that we created. When I put this in presentation mode, it still looks like a book. Hopefully you guys can see that. There we go. It still looks like a book. It still works in presentation mode. So you really could take this and turn it into like a digital slideshow, put it on your campus devices, your campus TVs on campus. Like, you have a lot of flexibility. You can also print, download this as a PDF and then print it. And so that's another option you have of having these automatic digital books. So I do want to show you, I got permission to show this student's example. And I'm going to tell you up front, she is an artist by nature. That's just what she does. So everything you see in the background are designs that she created. But I just wanted to show you what was possible when you just change the setup. Now, typically in the past, when the teacher had the kids do the poetry anthology, they just printed out their poems and stapled them together and turned them in. Being able to add this little design piece totally changed how students and the teacher interacted with the content. All right, give me a thumbs up if you like that. Give me a thumbs up. Do y'all like that? Thumbs up is in the top left-hand corner. All right, a few thumbs up, Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, here's another example. I know we're getting towards the end of the year, and so I wanted to show you that you can create your own certificates using the page setup. I know a lot of you are looking at how can you give end of the year awards. You can do it all in a Google slide. And it's all I did was change. I went to file and went to page setup. And then I put my design on top. And then I also wanted to show you, if designing your own is something that, you just don't feel like you have time to do, there are a ton of templates out there. Ditch That Textbook has over 100, and I'm probably being on the low end. So if you click on the free template that he provides, and then you click on Use Template, it will actually make a copy for you. And you can go in and pull any of these templates that you like. And there's so many instructional examples. This would also be great if you're interested in making interactive notebooks and going digital with those, especially during our season of remote learning, but really any time of the year. All right, so one small change can make a lot of differences. Oh, great question, Delm. I'm going to answer that right now. So her question is, what do you mean pull? So on the certificate, I made the certificate in Canva. You can make, like, I designed it in Canva. You can use Google Drawings. You can use Canva. You can use Adobe Spark Post, any tool that you want to. And then I dropped it in here so that I can have multiple slides. Because what I would do is I would duplicate this slide and then put each kid's name on it. Just double checking. Let me check the chat real quick, make sure. Okay. Great question. All right, another way that you can use Google Slides is by really taking advantage of the gray space. Even though you can change your dimensions of the slide, we miss out when we don't take full advantage of the gray space. So if you look here, I have a map, and I want kids to fill out information about the map, so I can have them put the chart. I can put my directions. I can embed a video. I can create sorting tiles. I can even put an answer box right here at the bottom right-hand corner, and then have students answer in that answer box. So it really enlarges the amount of space that you have to work with. And listen, this is only one slide. So just imagine, if you were doing the world or all of your major continents, you can literally have a slide for each continent, all in one document, all in one place. No more having, 6 different tabs open with all the information. It all can be here, which really allows students to be able to focus on the task and be able to grab what they need to be efficient with their time. So I did want to show you a few examples of what using the gray space could look like. And if you notice when you open it up, you can't see the letters as much. Just click on the zoom arrow and drop it down to 50%, and you should be able to see. So this is a nice one. The kids can go in and do some dragging and dropping. Again, using the gray space. If you want to, you can add video content in this space, or you could add directions. The kids could write a sentence using some of the words. Like, you have a lot of options here of what you can do. That's one example. In this second example, this is one that I'm actually currently working on. It's a sticky note brainstorming slide presentation. And so what we're going to do as a team is we're going to develop or come up with ideas for presenting at TCA next year. And I'm just having participants copy and paste the sticky notes. And then they're going to type their ideas on the sticky note. So it's about 11 of us that are going to be working on this document. They can make a copy of the whole page. So if I duplicate this whole page, it'll give me all the content again, including everything in the gray space. So this is a really good way to keep ideas fairly organized and all in one document, and to take advantage of that gray space. And then this last example relates to the water cycle. And again, each one of these words is actually its own image. So they created an image for each one of the words. I don't want to get this wrong. So the kids could drag that there and really be able to fill in, and then provide their feedback regarding the water cycle and what they've learned about the water cycle. So you really do have a lot of options when you take advantage of the gray space. I want to stop and just take questions at this time before I move on. Are there any questions? Just use the raise your hand or the nod icon at the top of the screen, or leave your questions in the chat box if you have questions. All right, I'm going to keep moving on. So then the question becomes, it's awesome that we use the gray space, love the page setup. What other changes can we make? So the next editing I want to show you is all about how to edit the master. There's a way to edit this template so that you could change the text for all your slides at one time. You could lock specific content that you don't want to move, and then you can add video content. I'm going to show you how to do that and what the possibilities are. So I'm going to click on this one again, and I want to show you something that you may come across. There we go. So in this document, what I want you to notice is that everything is movable. Each letter or set of letters is movable. Now, when you're working with students, sometimes they get a little confused And you may not want all of these smaller icons to move around like that, okay? A kid can go in and they start moving everything, and then they never focus on the actual task at hand, and they've gotten all of their content jumbled. So I'm going to show you how you can lock that content in place so that students can really focus on the activity that they're working on, which in this example is what is the first sound. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to slide, and I'm going to go to edit master. So in this area, this space, this is where you go to make changes to all the slides or several of the slides. The master slide, any changes that happen here will happen in everything else that follows behind it. Okay, I can even change the layout of the master slide, and I'll show you that in another example. But if I want to change, if I want to create a layout that is locked, here's what I would do. I'd click on this layout here. I'd copy and paste it so that there are two. Then I would delete the text because I don't need it. And then I'd X out of it. From there, I would go to File, Download, and I would download the slide as a JPEG. Then I would go back into my slide, or back into slide, then go back into Edit Master. I'm going to go to the layout that's now blank, and I'm going to change the background. So I'm going to choose background, choose image, and then I'm going to drag that background into that layout slide. And then I'm going to select done. So now, if you notice, this content's not going to move, okay? So then I'll X out of that. I will go to, y'all see that arrow right there, new slide with layout. I'm gonna go down there, and you see my lock content there. I'm gonna click on it. And so this one, all of the content on the page is locked. So now all I have to do is go back to slide one, copy all of my letters, and then put them on the gray space here. And so now when students use this activity, they are able to really focus on the assignment at hand and not worry about moving pieces. So that's one thing you can do with the master. And I highly recommend, if you're building any kind of interactive slides, that any content you don't want to move, that you go ahead and lock it in the master. It's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of headache. And then the last thing I want to show you how to do is how to insert video into the gray space. So we're going to go back to this water cycle example. And I went ahead and pulled a YouTube video. And so I already have my video. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Insert. And then I'm going to go to Video. And then I'm going to paste my YouTube video in there. Oh, okay, let's try that again. Oh, maybe it's not linked correctly. So I'll go and pull one. Yep, I'll go and pull one. So I'll go to YouTube, and I'm going to pull a water cycle video. And I would have to approve it so that my kids could see it. Then I would go back to my water cycle. I'd go to Insert, Video. And I'll go to Search. And then I would click on it so it becomes that dark blue. Then I would hit Select. Okay. And then I would X out of format options. I don't need them. I would simply drag it to the white space over here. And there you have it. Now I have all of the content, but then I also have a video that I can put in that space. Now, here's another thing you can do. I'm going to show you one more thing. Let's say you wanted to put the video on the document and you wanted to lock it. Okay? You don't want this piece of content to move around because maybe you have text or you have text boxes, you have things you want students to fill out. I'm going to show you how to put the video in where you can lock it in place. So I'm going to go back to Slide. I'm going to go back to Edit Master. And then in this section, I'm going to go to Insert, Video. It's still highlighted, so I'll go ahead and select it. And then the only catch here is that the video has to be on the actual document. It can't be in the black space. But when I close out of Edit Master and I put this presentation in presentation mode, it's going to play. Okay. Now this video is unavailable for some reason, but if it was available, it would play. However, when it's in working mode, see, it doesn't move. So you might want to consider this when a video is part of the slide and you don't want the slide itself to move. All right, any questions about editing the master at this time? Any questions before I move on? All right, the last thing I want to show you, and I learned this from the incomparable Chelsea Cody, y'all. She's awesome. Is the Giffy extension. And so if you've noticed in a lot of digital's content, there are a lot of animations and that kind of thing, and you're wondering how do they do that? I'm going to show you how to do that. If you have your presentation in presentation mode, if you click on this icon here, it's actually going to take you to the extension, and then you can click Add Extension, okay? So if you click on that image right here, it's going to allow you to add the extension. So what this extension does is it just allows you to make your presentation really nice and visually appealing. So I'm going to click on it. I will say this extension is not available for students. And then I'm going to click on stickers. And then this is a neon design. So I'm just going to click on neon and I'm going to do neon arrow. And so I really like this arrow, this transparent pink up. So I'm going to click on it. Actually, I'm going to just drag and drop it. And there it is. I can change the size of it. I can move it around. And if you look really closely, it also includes where this came from. So you can actually take that information and pull it into your, let's see if I can grab it. There we go. And I would drop that in. My best practice is to drop it in the notes. And I would say pink arrow. So that I give permission. I mean, I give credit where credit's due because I didn't make that arrow. And all of these arrows are, all of the stickers are transparent. So you really can add a bit of a extra spice to your presentations. All right, so let me see. The last thing I want to share with you is just more templates. So if you click here and you're on a desktop, whether it be a Chromebook, laptop, MacBook, there is a series of examples for you. And again, I got those examples from Brick Lowry. She was so kind enough to share those with me. And then if you want a copy of your own, you can click there. And if you're on an iPad, she has an iPad option as well where you can click on that and it'll actually give you copies as it relates to the iPad. All right, so that is it for me with It's Electric with Google Slides. I hope you guys really enjoyed the presentation. In the chat box, Brian is going to drop the attendance link and the presentation link if you hadn't gotten it yet. I will take questions at this time, so if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask your question at this time.
Well done, Martine. There hasn't been any questions yet, so.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see if folks. Oh, there we go. What was the extension to add Giffys? Yes, super important.
Yeah, let me show you that. So if you have the presentation and you're in presentation mode, you can do it either way. If you just click on the link, it'll take you to it, and it's called Giffy for Chrome. And just keep in mind with that, and I could be wrong. I don't think it's on students' accounts, but they're still GIFs, so not all of them are family friendly. So we may not want that on the student's device. So I just wanted to put that out there. Some of them are not family friendly, so to speak. But it's still a good extension, and it's nothing that's too bad, but I wouldn't add it to a student's extension. Any other questions? All right, guys. Well, that was It's Electric with Google Slides.
So Jeffrey is saying that the link didn't work.
Oh no, I'll drop it in the chat.
Awesome. And Erica, go ahead and unmute yourself. Thanks for raising your hands.
Yes, no problem. I have a question about how can students add their drawings to the Google slide? I missed that part.
Oh, I got you. I did not model that, but essentially, let me open up a Google drawing. And it could be any tool where students can turn their work into an image. It will work. Okay, so Google Drawings, Canva, Adobe Spark, Post, anything like that. Okay, so let's say I wanted to, let me just insert something. The team knows my go-to.
Yeah, Laura.
All right, so yes.
It's gonna be addicting.
Yes, and then file, I'm gonna change just the page setup because I want it to be 8.5 by 11. So now I've got my drawing, so to speak. It won't be perfect, but I got it. I'm gonna go file and I'm gonna go download. See if I can find it. Oh, there it is. Download. I'm gonna download it as a JPEG. And then when I go to my presentation, let's get out of this presentation. Let me go to one that's, there we go. So when I go in my presentation, it's already set up with the right layout. Then I would insert. Oh no, I do slide, new slide. And then on this slide, I would just change the background. And then there you have it. So the kids can put anything they want that they've created as long as it's an image. Does that help?